How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Devin the Bear. And today we have a very special guest with us, Carlos Nava, making his professional debut next
June 12th.
June 12th.
So yeah, thank you for coming, man. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time to come and share your story with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to people listening?
All right, my name is Carlos Nava. I'm a 22-year-old from Pasadena, Texas. And I'm a upcoming boxer, prodigy in the making. I have 0 fights right now, but I have my pro debut next month. And yeah, it should be a 1-0, one knockout win. And I'm just coming to the game, just trying to get my footsteps in the water and trying to make a movement.
Sounds good. How many amateur fights do you have?
I have 95 amateur fights.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit. What's the record like?
Like 11 losses and the rest were wins.
Really?
There you go.
A lot of knockouts?
I have a couple, maybe like 6 or some were stoppages. One was a knockout.
Cool. So how old were you when you started training?
I was 7 years old. My dad put me in boxing to stay off the streets, just so I won't get into trouble, and started working out, getting in shape, lost like 25 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, I was like 100 pounds at like 7 years old.
Were you a chubby kid?
I was a chubby kid.
Really, man?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. That's a call. That's funny, man. So was it really, with the boxing, did it ever, did it catch your eye from the start? Or?
Yeah, I did. I was seeing people spar, and, I just wanted to get in there and do it myself,
I got you. So what's it called? So, you kind of came in, learned discipline from the sport, did all that. And so since you started it when you were 7, was there ever just kind of that, you wanted to do that? Did you know since from then on, hey, this is what I want to do for a living?
Honestly, I really didn't know. I didn't know what I was getting into,
Yeah.
Had my first fight when I was 8,
Okay.
And I won it. I didn't think I was going to... I'll tell you about it. It was up in Humble, and I was fighting this kid from Len Collins, and he had about 2 fights. I didn't have no fights, so I didn't know what I was getting into,
Yeah.
And I was winning the whole fight just with a 1-2, just 1-2, straight punches, and it was like 3rd or 2nd round. I kind of low blowed him,
Oh, shit.
And he started screaming across the ring, screaming ah, and then I was just like, oh crap, what did I do, and then I gave him like a minute rest, and then we went back at it, and then I just started letting my hands go, and then I got that win,
Yeah.
And from that point on, I was like 10-0 as an amateur, and I was undefeated. And my dad was like, all right, we're gonna step it up. We're gonna fight this kid named Tiger. His name's Rafael Medina. He's a pro too, and he had like 20-something fights, 28 fights, and I barely had 10. I was like, all right, Pop, let's do it. And then we fought. It was just a dog fight, going at it. And I had lost it by split by 1 point, and I kind of regretted stepping up. But it was a mission, and my dad made me do it, and I was taking all my anger out on him. I was like, I quit. Fuck this sport, and I don't want to be in the sport no more. And then he talked me out of it, and I kind of got back in it, and went on for a 30-win streak.
Really?
Yeah.
That kind of loss, that's the stuff that you learn a lot about yourself and who you are. You having your dad there probably helped you build a lot of character and how to deal with that loss. You look at people like Floyd Mayweather. His last amateur fight, he was a loss. And the way he says it is that it was a learning program for him to become a pro. But he said, after that last loss, I was like, okay, no, I get how the game is played. I will never lose again. And he never did. But it was a controversial split decision that he didn't really agree with, but he did lose it. And the way that he handled it obviously shows, because now he is who he is. So you always learn a lot more from losses than you do from wins, because when you're winning, you know how good you are. But you don't always know what you need to work on. So when you lose, it really shines a light on what you need to work on. So you can always learn a lot from losses. So that's a good mindset to have coming from that. Because you're saying that it made you want to quit when you had that first loss, and it was very frustrated. Having your dad there to kind of point you in the right direction, you have that motivation now that's focused on this one direction that you can push forward in. Like you said, you went 30-0 after that.
Yeah, I went 30-0 after that.
Yeah.
I didn't like to lose, you know, just
Yeah.
but it was like more fuel for the fire, you know, just being in top shape, you know, not letting anybody beat you. And from that point on, I was like, all right, I just want to win. I won all these championships, you know. I went to state like 7 times. I won Golden Gloves like 3 times, and did the youth. I went to Olympic Games, and then I went to state in San Antonio, and that was for what's it called? It was a national tournament. So from there, I fought twice in San Antonio. From there, we went to West Virginia for nationals, and I was 15. And there was like 50 people in that bracket, and then had a first bye the first day, so I had a date to like kind of just see how it was, you know, my first national tournament ever. And then I fought the next day, I beat him. Fought the next day, beat him. Fought the next day, beat him. So I was beating all these guys unanimous, just 3-0. I was winning all rounds, and then finally got the championship. And it was for the gold medal for the whole USA. And I fought this guy named Charlie Shee or something like that, and he was from California. He was a tall dude. He had range, had a jab, and I was just putting that pressure on him because I'm a boxer too, you know. I use my jab too, but I know if I made it ugly on him, he would kind of made him hesitate. And I won that fight, but 2-1. It was split, but it was a gold medal, you know.
Yeah.
Just being the number 1 in the world at 132 pounds at 15 years old. No one else can say that, you know. And then I was supposed to fight overseas, and that year they had a rule where the juniors couldn't go overseas, and that kind of hurt my soul, and I gave up a little bit. I shouldn't have gave up. I should have just put more fuel to that fire, but I gave up. And then that's when I got into, you know, just that bad crowd, you know, the bad hanging out around friends, you know, parties and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're young, you know, you learn from it and stuff, but I mean, you know, considering you're 22 now, making your pro debut, you learn from your losses, you learn from your mistakes, so that's why you're in the position you are now, you know.
We're it the other way around. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be making your pro debut.
Yeah.
You may not even be a boxer. So you clearly are on the right path. Would you say you attribute that to your dad and your upbringing?
Yeah, my dad was a big part of my amateur career, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He was there mentally, physically, emotionally, and physically. He would push me to the end, and he wouldn't let me give up. Like, if I wanted a day off, he'd be like, no, you got to go hit the track. You got to go, you know, to the park, hit these miles, you know, extra work. And I hated him for it. Like, I hated him a lot for it. I would go off. I would throw tempers and tell him that I don't want to do this shit no more. And he would just, you got to keep going. So it paid off. You know, it really pays off, just being able to go into the pros with all this experience and all these fights and knowing that I can be on top. You know, I fought most of these guys in nationals. I know where I can place myself in the pros, and I know how far I can get. It's just like me. It's me versus myself and how far I want to get.
Yeah, after a certain point, it's always going to be when you know physically you got it. When you physically know that you know that you physically can handle it. You know that your skills are going to have your back, and you're going to be able to go in there and take care of business. It all comes down to a mental thing. And when you have someone behind you, like you have your dad, that'll always be there to kind of hold you up and support you, then mentally you have nothing to worry about. All you got to go in there is let your hands do the work.
Yes, sir.
I feel like you look at the list of boxers who are great, there's always someone there who has someone like that. I mean, heck, it's fake, but there's a reason that Rocky in the Rocky movies had Mickey. It's because he had to have someone like that, and if he didn't, the character doesn't make sense. He's based on Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano had someone like that. Floyd Mayweather had people like that. His dad and his uncle. So the list of boxers goes on, whether it's real or fictional. Like, there's a reason that there's always someone there. Is because whether you're boxing or MMA or Muay Thai or kickboxing or football or basketball, if you don't have someone there to support you when you're weak, it's just so hard to do it on your own. And like someone we've been talking about lately in MMA, Mike Perry, he doesn't really have anybody to lean back on when he starts having issues, and it shows in his fights. He struggles.
He's a former pro boxer as well. He had a couple of fights.
When he was 13, he was a Muay Thai champion.
Yeah, he was. He was a state champion when he was 13 in Florida. So it's like he has the potential, but he just he has a lot of mental issues, and I think what it is with him is just he has a lot that he works on. But like when you see it in his fights now, like he's just getting pieced up in his fights.
Yeah.
And I mean, because second he starts to build hype, he'll lose one, and then after that, just spiral out of control. And he like showcased it on like social media, like he'll be like walking around Miami drunk as shit, and then he just. He's like, yeah, I lost my fight. My girlfriend left me again, you know. But if y'all want to party, I'm down over here. And it's just like his thing too, though, is like he's never had a consistent trainer to put him in, like to keep a hold of him. Like he's been at these gyms before. Like at one point, like his corner was just his girlfriend, and so
and she didn't say anything because she doesn't know what to say because she's not trained in any way.
Yeah.
So she would rub him down with a towel, and his reasoning for it was, well, I'm the only one in there. So like you were saying, at the end of the day, when you're in there, sometimes you hear what your corner has to say, but what's going to get the job done is just you being in that cage, or I say cage, in the ring. But can you imagine yourself doing it without a corner at all?
I couldn't imagine it, but at the end of the day, it's me in that ring. You know?
It's
me,
just you.
Me fighting that other person. Like I'm putting my life on the line, no one else's. And I mean, of course, I'm gonna see what they see outside of the ring. You know, and and what they see is what I can't see. But I'm gonna go off my game plan, my mindset going into the ring.
Yeah.
who do you usually have in your corner?
I usually have my coach Vasquez, my dad Miguel Nava, and my former teammate Ivan Vasquez.
Okay, that's cool. So, like, usually, like, if they're making out calls to you, whose voice do you usually hear the most?
Probably my pops.
Yeah. It's just natural, right?
It's natural, yeah.
So, where are you training out of?
I'm training out of Iceland Boxing Gym. It's over on Gessner and kind of like in the Katy area.
Okay, cool. And so, how long have you been right there?
I've been there for, like, the past year, but I used to go there when I was, like, 15, 16, get some more. He has like that boxer Mexican style where it's like pressure, and a lot of body shots, and I kind of need that in my style, I kind of want to be versatile where I have, the regular original boxer style, jab and hit and don't get hit. I want that Mexican style where I can go in and brawl, body shots, and I want that, that Floyd Mayweather, the roll the shoulder and defense and stuff. I just want to be all around just a unique type of fighter.
Yeah, so whenever it's time for that skill to be shown, you know how to show it.
Yes, sir.
For sure. That's cool.
I think as a boxing fan, that's the kind of stuff that people would want to hear. Is a guy like you were saying, you can't imagine not having your corner, but if they're not there, you're completely confident in yourself. And then as far as what kind of boxer do you want to be, you want all aspects. You want it all. You want to be able to do it all. And I think that's the kind of stuff that people want. So whenever they watch someone, they want to see someone who can do anything. So when they watch Floyd Mayweather, I think a lot of the reason people don't like Mayweather is because he never has to do anything. He's so good at the one thing is the stick and move, be able to hit and not get hit, like you said. He's so good at that. Why would he ever do anything else? That always wins him the fights. I think coming from that family, I think he can do more than that. But he doesn't have to. One of my favorite fighters, GSP, has said, George St. Pierre, he said something that he's always been able to do is fight left-handed. And he said he sees it as like a secret card that he was like, I feel like in my career I never had to play that card because I never felt in trouble enough to where I might have to switch my stance up to keep them guessing because I was always in a winning position during the fight. So yeah, once you kind of master all the different styles of boxing, you think you'll try to showcase it all every fight, or you think you'll try to like hold back and
I think in certain fights I'll showcase it, and in certain fights where I know I'm winning and don't have to do it, I'll probably just coast and I'll box them and do my thing. But if I know I can take them out, I'm gonna take them out.
Yeah. Like we were talking with the Haney Linares fight last night. Haney was winning that fight, getting into the later rounds. He started getting caught, and so going into the last two, he was tying up a lot more. But I mean, you're winning the fight.
Yeah.
Why risk yourself? Why risk your health? And why risk losing the fight?
Yeah, it's championship rounds right there.
Yeah.
You know? That's the end.
That's
where it
what
matters.
shows what you're made of.
Yeah.
What's your stance? Like, are you orthodox, southpaw?
I'm orthodox. But sometimes I'll switch it up, go southpaw.
When you're feeling kind of.
Yeah, I feel like I mastered orthodox to the point where I can,
Yeah, feel comfortable enough. Hit him with the razzle dazzle.
Yeah.
Just fuck with him a little bit.
Switch him up, keep him thinking,
Yeah, for sure.
There's a coach named Jim West, and something he had said, and I talked to him a little bit about it on Facebook, using a couple different fighters as examples. But he said he was like, as far as me as a coach, I would never have my guys fight in a stance when they haven't mastered their stance yet. And I agree with that. I think if you've mastered your stance, at least to your own personal unique style,
mm-hmm.
and you want to start throwing some stuff from southpaw or orthodox, whichever is the opposite of your stance, I'm all for it. So you think, though, that you've mastered your orthodox for your style?
Yeah, I really think I have, because I'm only gonna switch when I know I have a person in front of me that I can switch on. I'm not gonna switch on some top athlete. I'm gonna switch on someone that I know I can take out. So yeah, I feel like I've mastered the orthodox style.
If someone's watching you and they see you switch, that means they know you're comfortable.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable.
That's good. Yeah, I try to switch stances. I immediately am like, I hate this. Why did I do this? And I switch back. I'm like, never mind.
I'm bad at both stances, so either way, I'm like, fuck, I don't know. But yeah, man, that's cool as shit though that you do that. Then, so what kind of boxers do you prefer to watch then? Like, what's some certain things? I know you talk about
mm-hmm.
each type of fighter. There were certain stances and stuff like that. Like you want to emulate a little bit, but is there certain ones that like boxers that stand out to you as a whole?
As a whole?
Yeah.
As a whole, probably not. As like in a boxing way, of course Mayweather.
Yeah.
And a more aggressive kind of Mexican pressure fighter,
mm-hmm.
I would say maybe Marquez and Canelo.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to start with Canelo, so when you said Marquez, I was like, oh. Then you said Canelo, I was like, all right.
You ever watch Roberto Duran?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he's fun to watch, dude. That dude doesn't just fucking going at it. He actually walked out one of these. He walked out this MMA fighter Jorge Masvidal because there was this whole like thing. The UFC built up this whole fucking thing, like some WWE style like championship belt. They call it the BMF belt,
Mm-hmm.
It stood for the baddest motherfucker. And then it was like Jorge Masvidal, who grew up in the streets of Miami, fought Nate Diaz, who's from Stockton, California. His older brothers, you've probably heard of the Diaz brothers, maybe once or twice, but they had them fight. But it was cool though seeing they asked Jorge Masvidal, who do you want to walk you out, because they made it a whole big event. Like Mike Tyson was there, they had The Rock there and stuff, and they asked Jorge Masvidal, like, who do you want to walk you out? He's like, I want Roberto Duran to walk me out. He's like, that's the baddest motherfucker right there, dude. And so it was cool as shit. And then when he ended up winning the fight by a doctor stoppage, and then they had Roberto Duran come in and give him the belt, I was like, yeah, that's pretty tight.
Badass. Yeah, he was a dog. He fought what was the other guy? Was it 2 fights? The other boxer. He was more like, was it Sugar Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, Sugar Ray.
Yeah, those were good, man.
Yeah.
I think Sugar Ray fought Mickey Ward's brother, right?
His brother?
I can't remember his brother's first name. You ever watch Mickey Ward fight?
No, I haven't seen it.
You need to check out Mickey Ward. Have you ever seen the movie The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg?
Mm-mm.
It's about a boxer. It's about Mickey Ward. Mickey Ward was he was always the underdog in every single one of his fights. He's Mickey Irish Ward. He would go in there and he would work your body to where the second you drop your hands, he'd hit you with the left hook and put you out. And it was just every single fight. He was so good at doing that. He was so good at making it such a dirty fight that the second your style would be affected by it and you would change from trying to implement your style to going, okay, this is going to be a dogfight. The second you accepted it, that's when he was like, okay, well, now I'm going to fight like a good technical boxer. and I'm gonna switch levels, and you're gonna get dropped. And he would do it every single time. And then he's got these 3 fights with Arturo Gatti, and those are some of the best boxing matches of all time. Especially the first one. The first one was the one where both of the guys coming into it, where people were like, okay, Mickey Ward, he might win this one. He's still the underdog, and he didn't win it. But Arturo Gatti was just a better all-around boxer than Mickey Ward. And then the second round, the second fight, you could see Arturo Gatti. He knew more what to do. And then after that, Mickey Ward put some stuff together, and he was looking better in the gym. He was looking better in his life. So they had a third fight, and it still went the same way. So Mickey Ward lost all 3 fights, but he was always fun to watch, man. The stuff he could do, the amount of punches he could fit into a combination and change levels was amazing. He'd put people up against the ropes and fire off like 6-7 punches in one combination and then back up. And the people, they would just be looking woozy on the ropes. It was crazy.
I'm gonna look into him.
Yeah, man. So what's it called? So who's your opponent that you're facing on June 12th?
His name is Roberto Pina, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know anything about him?
I just know that he has 1 loss, 1 fight, and from the Valley.
Okay, so he's pretty new as well, like to the pro scene.
Yeah.
He's probably been boxing for a while.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I got you. So what's it called? So after your win on June 12th, what's gonna be the meal? I mean, I know today for lunch you ate a salad, man. You probably want some real food now.
You had a few bites of a salad.
Probably some pasta, probably.
Some pasta?
Some pasta, yeah.
That's what I was eating a chicken sandwich. I almost moved the kiosk in front of me so you wouldn't be looking at it. So I felt bad. It's like, man, discipline. That's right.
I was eyeing his sandwich.
There is this dude, this guy named one of the guys we were talking about. That his name's Alistair Overeem, and he was eating food in front because he's a heavyweight, so he eats whatever he wants, and he's eating food in front of this other fighter named Islam Makhachev who cuts to 155. And he's from Dagestan, Russia, and those guys, they cut a lot of weight. They I don't know what it is, but they just carry a lot of weight on them. And freaking Alistair's just enjoying his food, like he's I think he's eating pasta in front of him, and Islam's like, dude, you have no respect, man. Like, what's wrong with you? And then he slides like the to-go box in front of it, so he can't see. He's like, just have some discipline, you're good. I was like, God, man, I got you. But so what else are you into though, man? Besides boxing, I know that's pretty much a majority of that. But
yeah, I'm into. I like Mother Nature. I like going out and seeing new places.
Yeah,
I like that. I like arts, more like the therapeutic stuff. Just being calm and getting in tune with myself and my spirit. I like basketball. I like football. I like everything. I like working out, running, swimming, kayaking, fishing. A lot of, relaxing things,
Yeah, just be able to relax your mind, just take a break from everything, Yeah.
Would you say sparring or even just like working out, boxing, would you say that that's relaxing to you?
Punching the bag's relaxing.
Yeah.
Sparring's more intense.
Putting work in.
More like, keep my head focused and
keep your mind sharp.
Yeah, to not get hit,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like sparring and working out MMA, whether I'm working on specific techniques or just running drills with friends, like I feel like it's like it makes my spirit happy. It's so spiritually nice to do, and I feel like that's when you know what your passion is. So when you do stuff like do you ever go hiking?
Yeah, I go hiking.
Yeah, hiking. It's just so nice. There's Tyler State Park, which is over in Tyler. It's like 5 hours from here.
I have never been there.
It's so nice. Me and my wife went in like January a couple years ago, or maybe a little over a year and a half ago. And it was so nice. We went canoeing. We went walking on these trails, and it's just trees and the lakes there. Everything's so freaking pretty, and it really just puts you in a better spot mentally being out in places like that. So I definitely understand nature being something that calms you. I think it's such a big deal. Like when you see athletes or something, and they're jogging, like just doing little workouts, but they're out in like the middle of nowhere on these mountains. I'm like, I get it.
It's peace.
Yeah. Because you're kind of combining your two passions, and it's something that I think helps a lot. So, like I said, I get that. And then art. What kind of art are you into?
I like painting, drawing, sculptures, anything really. Just clothing. I like fashion.
Oh, fashion. I'll never understand fashion. That's not me. I don't get it. You know A$AP Rocky?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has his own that dude, I don't understand how he knows so much about fashion. But he's got his own line out there, and people actually have runway walks with it, and I'm like, that's freaking cool. But I don't get it. I look at those clothes, I'm like, that can't be comfortable.
I like standing out, just being unique and just looking different. I don't like following the crowd. I like being my own person. If I can set a wave for the younger generations and let them know that it's always good to dream and be different, and I want to set it.
Yeah. Calvin Murphy is a former Rockets player. You ever watch Rockets games? You see the dude, one of the commentators, wearing like a wild suit? That's him.
Okay.
And so his closet is and will be worth more than any amount I could ever spend in my life. That dude's suits are insane.
I've never seen him wear the same suit twice.
Yeah, and you won't. He's got the amount of suits he'll get, and he'll get suits for free, I'm sure. But he'll go and find like the most wild prints. They'll be like silk, and the fabrics will be from all over the world. Man, if I could wear suits like that, I would. But I can't, so I don't. I wear t-shirts and shorts and jeans.
So I know we talked about like how you're pretty big into music and stuff. Like, what's some music that you like to listen to whenever you're working out?
I like rock for sure. I like new generation, like like X, Trippie Redd. I like Drake for sure. A$AP Rocky. What else? Travis Scott. Just a lot of newer generation.
Yeah.
Stuff.
You listen to any old stuff? Like,
I like the Beatles. I like AC/DC a lot. I got into old rock because of my dad, and he'd always play it in the truck, and I got listened to it,
Yeah.
So I got used to listen to it. My pops is just different, different guy.
Was he a boxer as well?
He did amateur boxing for a little bit. He had like 5 fights. He was 3-2.
Yeah.
He was more of a street fighter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he grow up in Pasadena as well?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Old P-Town.
Yeah.
Stinkadena if you're not from here.
Yeah, Pasadena.
But yeah.
Yeah, man. Did you ever, that bank that used to be on Southmore?
Oh, the one
they tore it down?
Yeah.
Did you ever go in there?
Never went in there.
Oh, man.
You?
That was like that was like a rites of passage thing for me and my group of friends growing up, is sneaking in there. And, like, you don't do anything when you go in there. You just try not to fall through the floor or something, but...
Yeah.
It was cool. We used to go in there. I had a couple friends who would go into that hospital a little down the road or across the street, and then there's a building next to it. I had gone in that building, but I think all those buildings are gone now. But they were like Pasadena landmarks almost.
I snuck into Rayburn.
Yeah.
Yeah. At night at like 2 a.m, and then a cop came in. I don't know what it was. I think it was probably a sensor, because we went into the top of the roof,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, went to the top. There was like a latch and went in to a restroom, and that cop shone his light like 30 minutes later. He's like, hey, there's like 6 of us, so like 5 of us took off. I was the first one to take off, went to the bag.
You're the smart one.
Yeah, everybody else just followed me. I got out, and then one of our other friends he was parked at the parking lot, tried to get away with his truck, and they stopped him.
Really?
Yeah, and then like 30 cops just surrounded the whole school, and it was crazy. Did
you get caught?
I didn't get caught.
Oh,
I got caught. Man. You're in shape. No, you didn't get caught. Your dad was probably like, hey, you need to go for a run today. You're like, nah, I got my cardio last night. We're good.
Yeah.
It's funny, dude.
Yeah. Shit. I feel like you gotta do some crazy stuff when you're a kid, man.
Yeah.
You gotta do something. Whenever I was a kid, in 4th grade, I was talking about this a little bit earlier. I saw the movie Fight Club, and I went to school and started a fight club. And we had, I'm gonna like name drop a bunch of my friends growing up, but it was myself, this guy Daniel Pineda, we had Gustavo Hutron, we had Shane De Los Santos, we had this guy Steven. I don't remember his last name, but he got whooped up by Shane, which nobody expected that because Steven was this little hood rat kid and Shane was this quiet kid with real long mullet hair. And Shane whooped him. And I mean, we were kids, it was stupid, but like I said, you gotta do stuff like that sometimes. But we had like a whole bracket set up. And the last two, it was me and this guy Shane, and we went at it. And this kid came in, his name was Joseph. He came in, we saw him poke his head, and then he turned around and walk out, and we just kept going. And then teacher started yelling into the bathroom, and I was like, oh man, he told on us. And so we walk away, and we're like, I had like some, like all these red marks along my like jawline and my throat.
Yeah.
And he had some like busted up on his eyebrow, and we were going out and we're like, no, we weren't doing anything. But yeah, we ended up getting suspended, and we came back with like 2 or 3 days left of school. But yeah, like you just do stupid stuff when you're a kid.
Just having fun.
And I feel like that helps you learn faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like you learn what's stupid and what's not stupid. So I mean it's helpful, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm not the right person to ask.
So outside of boxing, though, so we talked a little bit. So you'll be starting a family soon.
Yes, sir. My fiance is currently she's pregnant, like almost 3 months pregnant.
Really?
About to
That's
start
awesome.
providing.
Yes,
Gotta make that boxer money.
Yes, sir.
So y'all know what it is yet? If it's gonna be a boy or girl?
Oh, we don't know
Y'all
as of
know.
right now. Probably her next appointment.
Okay. Yeah.
Hopefully a boy, but
Yeah.
You gonna train him?
yeah, I'm definitely gonna train him.
That's my goal. I wanna train my kids early. I don't know when I'm gonna have kids, but whenever I do, I wanna train them early.
Yeah, make some legends, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even have to compete. I just want them to know.
Defense. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to know self-defense. That's what,
Mhm.
like, I talk with some friends about it, you know, like, they're having kids and stuff. I don't have any kids yet. I don't want any. I'm good right now. But, you know, like, it's important to know self-defense. Like, even if, like, you know, your path, you know, that you're following, if it wasn't going towards boxing, you know, at least you knew how to defend yourself in case you ever needed it, you know.
Yeah.
It teaches discipline. It shows a lot. It helps build character, you know. I'm sure, you know, if you can contribute a lot of your confidence to boxing, you know.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. I think self-defense is a big, important thing to have, you know, even for girls, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I think even if it's not for self-defense, even if it's just doing it because you want to, knowing that when you walk into a room and you look at everybody there and you know, okay, nah, I'd be able to handle myself with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Or if these people wanted to start crap with these people, I can stop that. It makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very, I don't want to say it instills a lot of confidence, but it's kind of confidence that I think people need to be able to, like I said, walk into a room and know.
Feel safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people don't have that. I think you get a lot of macho guys that feel insecure, but it's because they don't know how to fight. They know maybe if I hit them, I can drop them, so they try to get in your face about it. They try to be overly aggressive, but it's like you're sitting there like, nah, man, I know what I'm doing, so you can either back up or I can put you away.
Yeah.
But you need to pick one real soon because I'm getting tired of hearing you. And that tends to be the case is they're just talking, and once the talking's done, they don't do anything.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure if someone says something to you, you're probably like, dude, I'll fuck you up. Like, I'm not gonna waste time with this.
Yeah.
It's like, man, my hands are worth too much. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Said your dad was doing street fights. You do many street fights?
My dad or me?
You.
Oh, me? I had 2 when I was, like, 13, 14.
Yeah. At school or what?
No, one was at a barbershop. And
Barbershop.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sitting in a chair and, these, Doc Watches, the
Yeah.
truck guys. He was talking mess and I was like, "Are you talking to me? Like, why are you talking about to me?" And he like, kept going off like, "All right, let me get this fade first, and then we'll go in the back."
And
then
you can catch this fade
Yeah.
bitch. Like,
yeah, we went to the back. They made a whole circle. You know, all the
Really?
people. Yeah, all his friends. And I let him throw the first punches. He threw a 1-2 and a hook, and he kind of like glid my cheek, and I got mad. You know, like, all right. So he took his first contact. So I threw a 1-2, and then I did the same punches, 1-2 hook, and I knocked him down, and he just had a swollen eye, and that was it. They stopped it.
but you showed him how to really throw it, pretty much. You're like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so-
What kind of barbershop you going to, man?
yeah.
My friend was starting to cut hair, and he was cutting in the back of his house, so he had like the shed, and people would come and line up and sit down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just imagining some like small barbershop. I don't know. I think barbershops, and my first thought is always old man,
Yeah.
pair of clippers and scissors.
No, he was my age, getting ready to start his own business. And
Nah, man. I immediately thought about some barbershop I used to go to over off Richie. By I think it's by Rams. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Yeah, like what's it called? That's the first one I thought about. My man, if it sounds like some shit that would go down right there, dude. Like,
Across the car wash?
yeah. Oh man, that's fucking funny though.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of stuff that happens in Pasadena, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just, I don't know. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know, you either, if you're gonna talk mess, you're gonna have to put it up at some point, and if you don't, nobody's gonna want to be around you.
Yeah.
You ever seen that video of those college football players? They sucker punch some kid in the bathroom at the bar.
And I haven't seen that.
Oh, dude, it's nuts. Like they sucker punched this dude
I'll
and
find
they
it for
like
you.
they bust his nose open, and so they start talking shit. We'll come to find out the dude like could fight, and they didn't know. Like he trained. I don't know what he trained in, but he slapped him, and then the football player just like stepped back, and then he just like went off and he picked him up and threw him on the ground in the bathroom. And one of the football players' friends tried to try to get involved, and one of his friends trained also, and he just picks him up and slams him into the bathroom stall, and shit. And it was rough, dude. And but yeah, I think one of the guys almost lost his eye because the way he fell into the bathroom stall, his eye caught the corner. I was like, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
basically, it was typical athletes who are bigger than other guys in the room, so they are a little bit too, like we were talking about earlier, they're real macho.
Yeah.
They feel like, yeah, if I hit someone, it'll hurt, but they don't know how to throw the punch, so maybe they're feeling a little insecure. I don't know what the deal is there, but they go into a room with a bunch of people who actually know how to fight, and apparently, like, if you go look at those guys, they got cauliflower ear, which is a big kind of telltale sign.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, these guys have been around the block. You don't need to mess with them. But yeah, the guy who started the fight, his buddy was behind him, one of the other college football players, and he reached over and slapped someone. And as that guy got slapped, by the time he looked back, the guy who slapped him had already brought his arm back and went back behind the initial guy. So that's why he hits that first guy. So, yeah, I feel like when you train, you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
And generally, they're not going to be the first guy to go start something.
Mm-mm.
I think especially when as MMA becomes more popular, you have a lot of guys who are kind of, originally you had a lot of guys who they would go in there and start crap. They just were those kind of people. They would go in there and start crap. But as it becomes more of a popularized sport, like you see a lot of boxers there, when they go out in public, they're not trying to start crap. But then you have guys who and it's usually younger guys who haven't been tested yet.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really go in there and mess around. They might wrestle with their friends, or they might watch the fights. They're usually the ones starting crap. The experienced guys are the ones who are sitting back waiting to have to defend themselves, because they, like I said, when you walk into a room, you can kind of know what's going on. So when someone walks up or they start standing out, you know who to look for.
Yeah.
You ever go anywhere and feel like, okay, these are the people I have to watch out for, because they're probably going to stir some stuff up.
Yeah. One's making noise, and always the ones kind of just looking at you, just.
Yeah.
But, it's always like, I think probably younger ones, like you said, that just don't have no experience, and it's just they haven't been tested and out there,
They haven't got their ass whooped yet.
Yeah, they haven't got their ass whooped. But, just, like people like us, we just sit back, we relax, and just, if it comes, and we're going to be, we have our weapons, and we're just sitting back and enjoying ourselves. We're confident, like you said, we're confident and safe in our atmosphere.
And it's not like a confidence where you walk into a room with your chin up high and you just walk into you're just doing your life because it's like you said, it's a safety thing. It's more of I feel safe and I'm not really worried about it. Like I know what I look like. I look like a chunky white dude. Like I get it, but I mean I know what I'm capable of, so I'm not worried about it.
No one knows what gifts we have, or what crafts we know. And that could be for anybody. It could be a skinny kid. It could be a big kid.
Especially these days, you don't have to be some yoked freaking athlete to be able to fight anymore. Like you look at boxers, like one of the biggest names in heavyweight right now is Andy Ruiz. Even though he did just lose a bunch of weight, he's Tyson Fury. We'll use him as an example too. They aren't shredded like Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua, but they'll put you down just as fast. So you can't go anywhere anymore and expect to be able to pick out who can defend themselves. Like, and I don't understand the mindset of doing that anyway. But just be respectful. But I think there's just a lot of people in combat sports right now that are kind of showing exactly that. You don't have to be like Jack to be able to do stuff like that. In MMA, you have Derek Lewis, who very muscular dude, but he's not lean by any means. But he's from Houston. He's a heavyweight. Is he number one? I mean, number three. Yeah. Well, he's fighting for the title.
Actually, he's two. I forgot. Two? Yeah, because Stipe's number one.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Stipe's number one, but you have him, and I mean, he's the only guy to ever beat the current heavyweight champion other than Stipe. And if you've seen Francis Ngannou, you've seen Francis Ngannou. That dude is a monster. There is no such thing as a better physique than him. Natural physique, anyway. You have Derek Lewis. You have, we were talking boxing, Andy Ruiz, Tyson Fury. Heck, Ryan Garcia. He's not in any. I'm not saying he has a bad physique at all, but he's very lean. He's very small. He's very thin. So you have him wearing a hoodie. He just looks like some dorky small guy. Yeah. You go in there, and he's gonna get punches off before you're even done throwing your hand, man. That dude's so fast. So yeah, like the world's kind of combat sports is becoming a lot more common, a lot more popular. Boxing having been around as long as it has, like you were saying, there's all these different kind of styles. What kind of in MMA, you can always kind of predict when the next style is going to start taking over. So like right now, I think a lot of people are predicting wrestling to come back and be the more dominant style. With boxing, what do you think is going to be a more dominant style? So I think for a while we had, like you were saying, there's the Mexican style boxing, where you're putting pressure on and you're working body a lot. I think and then for another period of time we had the stick and move. What do you think is going to be the next one? Like, what do you think right now is the most popular style of boxing?
Right now, most popular style would be like Tank and Lopez. They're aggressive. Real aggressive. But they're also boxing. They're also boxing. They're also like being smart about kind of just coming in. Letting their shots off, coming out. Being slick with it.
Also like technical boxers who look for their timing and then throw the heavy combinations.
Like boxer punchers.
Yeah. I could see that. You think are Devonte Davis and Ryan Garcia set to fight yet?
I don't think so.
No. I think Ryan Garcia does have a fight set.
Yeah. Oh, he does? Who's he fighting?
I don't know.
It don't matter. It needs to be Devonte Davis.
Yeah. I think I don't know. That's a tough one. I think Davis could knock him out, but if Ryan don't let him, I think Ryan will take it in scorecards.
Yeah, I could see that being the case too. Davis is too strong, and he hits too hard. But yeah, Ryan Garcia is fast. He's smart. I don't know, man. I think he could get overconfident though against Davis.
Hopefully, like in 2-3 years, I'll be up there and take my shot at Ryan.
Yeah, you can take him out and be like, yeah, nobody cares about you fighting Davis anymore. You aren't going to do it. I'll do it.
I'm going to be at a bar, fucking cue ball, be like, hey, I know that guy. But shit, yeah, that's what, who's that, man? People were fucking giving Ryan Garcia shit because he hangs out with those YouTube kids. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, he's like 20 years old, dude. This is like what he grew up watching and shit. This is how things are for the newer generation. But man, you can't ever deny his fucking work ethic, though. Mm-hmm. You know, he's a hard ass worker and he's fast. Yeah. But Devonte Davis, I think Devonte Davis is fucking incredible. He's strong, dude, especially for that weight class he's in. It's like, man, but we'll see what's up. And we were talking earlier about Canelo. He's his next. He's already dominated every weight class he's been in. But do you think he actually goes up to cruiserweight?
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think he will.
I think he's too small.
I think so too. I think he still has a couple more people to take out in this weight class.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think he's got?
For sure, Charlo brother, and then after that, I don't know.
There's this other boxer that showed up to his press conference after he beat Billy Joe Saunders. What was that guy's name, dude? D'Angelo something. I can't remember his last name. But him and his dad showed up to Canelo's...
Andre?
Yeah. And he showed up to his press conference talking shit to him. And it's like, Canelo's English has gotten really good. And so he's like, get the fuck out of here. And I could not stop laughing, man. I was like, God. He's here for the press. I was like, man.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah. But I don't think he stands a chance against Canelo.
No, I don't think so either.
It's hard to say that anybody would. Do you think that when Canelo fought Mayweather, do you think Canelo... I guess first off, do you think if they rematch, do you think Canelo wins?
No.
You know?
I don't think so.
I think he would. I think he knows how to handle Mayweather. I won't say how to handle, but he knows what to expect from Mayweather. So he knows how to readjust. I think he, like I said, you learn a lot more from a loss, and I think Canelo's learned a lot.
He did.
Since then, he's shown that he's become a better boxer.
But I feel like, all right, who would win in a fight, Prime Mayweather or Prime Canelo?
Prime Mayweather.
Prime Mayweather.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're seeing Prime Canelo grow right in front of us. So who knows, really? Mm-hmm. But as it stands now, Mayweather doesn't get touched.
Yeah.
In his age now. Mm-hmm. Put him in his prime, good luck.
That's what was kind of scary about Mayweather too, is before he was champion, he was knocking everybody out, but he still wasn't getting touched. And then when he became champion, you saw him become a much more defensive fighter, where he was going in there and he looked exactly like he looked walking into the fight, walking out, you know. Mm-hmm. And it was just like it happens a lot with champions. They eventually have to change their style. They have to change something because people are gonna start catching on to what they were doing before. Mm-hmm. So you just have to be one step ahead. But I mean, he was smart to go in there, take as little damage as he could, and still made a shit ton of money doing it. And so that's what you see other guys that just take way too much damage for too long, and then they just can't do it anymore.
I think Mayweather was really good at adapting, you know? Throughout a fight, he would adapt if he was getting beat in a certain style.
And he's fought generations of styles.
Yeah, he has.
And so just to be able to do that, because you look at somebody like Amir Khan still does it, but he has a glass jaw now. He's done it for too long. Mm-hmm. Your durability gives out after years of just getting punched. You know, it's just your mind could be in there, but it's just you won't ever be able to hold up to that.
Your body.
Yeah. Like another, like even MMA fighter like Chuck Liddell, like he was good for a long time, and then out of nowhere you just saw. I mean, he's fighting big guys, but he started getting knocked out left and right. It was anything that would touch his jaw. That was it. Like whenever he lost to Rich Franklin, it was a good shot. He just kind of walked right into it. It just caught him right between the nose and the upper lip, just shut him out. And then you saw him retire, and then he came back. He fought Tito Ortiz, but he just looked like a shell of himself. And Tito Ortiz, I mean, he's got pretty decent boxing. He worked with Sal Solis on his hands, and for a while he's done that. But it's just after a while, it's just his mind's there, but his body's not. You know, I mean, the guy was closer to 50 when he decided to come back and fight. And so that's kind of what I'm curious about with like Oscar De La Hoya. Is, you know, if he was to fight George St. Pierre, because I mean it's gonna be strictly boxing. That's, you know, gonna be Oscar's home. But then you got a guy who's an MMA fighter, and but it will he be able to transition?
GSP's older, but he's still got it.
Yeah.
GSP retired, went like 5 years without fighting, and then came back and beat. Not only he didn't just beat the middleweight champion, which is a weight class above what he's used to. He came back and he dropped the middleweight champion with a head kick, and then choked him unconscious. And it was one of the tightest chokes rear naked chokes I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So he showed that he's still got it. So if he were to go over to boxing, I don't know how well he would do, but seeing what condition that Oscar De La Hoya's in physically and maybe even mentally, like, who knows what he's capable of anymore. You as a boxer, when you want to, what kind of record do you have other than just undefeated? By the time you retire, like, what kind of legacy are you wanting to leave behind?
I want to leave my, for sure I want to leave my name on this planet. Like, I want to be compared to, like, Muhammad Ali, you know, Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. You know, I want to be up there with the greats.
Yeah.
I at least want 5 straps. I want 5 belts.
Yeah, different weight classes? Or different?
If I can, 5 different weight classes. If not, then I'll stay in the weight class for 2 times. It don't matter.
Yeah.
But I feel like my body will grow into maybe a strong middleweight.
Yeah. Because I mean, you're only 23. Your body's still gonna be growing. You know, you haven't fully. I think by the time you're 27, you'll definitely see it. That's whenever you hit your physical prime, your biological prime. But I mean, you know, considering that, like, you'll probably grow a little more. Your chest will probably, your shoulders will broaden out a little more, and it's gonna be like you'll be looking back, and it's like you could probably even do it now. Even a couple years ago, go watch one of your amateur fights, and you see it's like, damn, I don't even look like that anymore.
Yeah.
You said you actually still have footage of like when you were a kid from your amateur fights?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's cool as shit though.
Was this your, like, first podcast interview?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're retired and you got that legacy, we're gonna interview you again. I'll be like, hey man, remember when you said you were gonna retire like this? Good job, man. I'm gonna give you a thumbs up and that's it. I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, I'm done here.
He did what he said he was gonna do.
It'll be like in the movies. I'll walk away and I'll be like,
We're gonna play some really shitty 80s music while he does it. Yeah.
I think I have a good time link to do what I want to do. I'm 22, you know. I got a couple years, you know. I think I can stay in my prime for a good 13, 15 years probably.
yeah.
And, you know, talking with you, you know, you talk about, like, you can remember your first loss. Because the thing is a lot of, like, people, especially because when it comes down to, like, team sports, is like you can blame a loss on anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to a combat sport, either it's boxing, MMA, kickboxing, anything, it's just, you know, it's you in there. But a lot of people is like, you know, a loss can make or break you. And it seems like, you know, just talking with you is just, you know, that loss made you into saying, like, no, I want to be better. Like, I'm not going to, I don't like the way that felt at all and stuff. And so that's always something good to keep in mind. Is just like, and you had your dad there to make sure, like, hey, no, I'm going to keep you on the right track too, which is always important. Because, I mean, shit, dude, I remember, like we were just talking about being, you know, teenagers doing a bunch of dumb shit. And so it's like, but no matter what, at the end of the day, it's like you had your mind on the right track, you know.
Yes,
so that's always important. Then,
What kind of lessons do you take with you into each fight? Like, every fight you got, like, 1 or 2 things that in your head you're kind of repeating yourself, like stay calm or be aggressive. Like, of course it'll kind of vary depending on who you're fighting, but what are, like, the main things that you've been taught throughout your training to kind of remember?
I remember that, well, in training, my work ethic is up there, so I'm always in shape. So I always tell myself in a fight, I'm in shape. I got nothing to worry about. I'm not going to gas out. They're not going to beat me by me gassing out or getting tired. They're going to beat me by either they're going to knock me out or that's it. Like, they're going to have to knock me out. I think coming into a fight too, I just strong mind. You know, the crowd. I'm gonna believe that the crowd is my energy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna feed off that energy, and I'm gonna just go hard. You know.
What happens if you're getting booed?
If I'm getting booed, and I'm gonna have to just diss the crowd for a little bit and box, and because I know the crowd. Like, I can't listen to the crowd all the time, man.
Yeah.
I know I'm not always gonna have a crowd to my advantage. You know, I might be in their hometown, or I might be boxing, and you know, some crowds, they want to see actual, you know, a dog fight, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Maybe
get
that's
me
not the best way to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get me my win. You know, like
Yeah.
if it gets them mad, I still want my win. If it gets me a belt, I want my win. You know.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of boxers throughout history of when they're getting booed, they kind of use that and they feed off of that, and they're like, yeah, like, you can hate me all you want. Look what I just did to your guy, though.
Yeah.
Who's that? Klitschko?
Klitschko.
Yeah, both of them.
Ricky Hatton liked to do that. Ricky Hatton, he's a nice guy, but he liked going overseas and beating people up in their own hometown. Like, I feel like that's like a lot of English fighters like to do that.
Mhm.
They like to go and beat people in America or beat people in, you know, wherever it is they're from. So I know Michael Bisping liked doing that.
Lomachenko.
Yeah. So
Going out there, I forgot who he fought. He was like, no Moschenko, talking shit on the mic. It's like, oh, man.
So I feel like that's something that is always important, having a couple things in your head. That way, if you ever start getting distracted, remember a couple things that get you focused back on. Like, even if it's just the crowd,
Mhm.
you start getting distracted, just start remembering, hey, the crowd's cheering. Like, okay, this is what they're cheering for.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to yes sir me, man. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're the fighter, man. We're just the interviewers.
Yeah.
Nah, but I think, like I said, I do think it is important to always have one way to focus back on the fight if you ever get distracted.
Mhm.
Because I know a lot of the times, like, when it comes to a crowd, a lot of times you're not even going to notice them there.
Mhm.
Like, you'll be so involved in your fight that you don't even notice them. And that, I think, is one reason it's nice having a corner, because you can always hear their voices.
Yeah.
You may not be able to distinctly hear what the heck's going on in the crowd, but you'll hear your corner. You'll hear the other guy. You talk mess a lot when you box?
No, but I mean, I don't talk mess, but I do kind of like showboat. Well, not
Yeah.
showboat, more like if he's like talking mess or something, I'll stick my tongue out, you know, or I'll like, or I'll have my hands down, but I use that as bait for them to come in, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll take a quick step back and just, you know, hit them with a good pop, and then.
That's what I'll do a lot with, like we were talking about, have that stepping jab.
Mhm.
That's what I'll do a lot. I'll lower my hands and kind of lean low and like step back, have
Bait them
them
in, yeah.
have them take that step that I just took, so I know exactly where they're going to be, because that's where I just was, and then I step forward with that jab the second they step there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I get it. I don't consider myself showboaty, but I think I do a lot of things that probably seem
Yeah.
showboaty or annoying.
You ever watch Jack Dempsey?
No.
Old boxer. No, you should check him out, dude.
I'm gonna
Fucking dog fight. But Mike Tyson talks about him a lot. That was his main inspiration. But this guy fought back in like the early 1900s and stuff. But he would travel everywhere specifically because like people wanted to watch him fight. Like he was like one of the first like big stars in boxing. But you watch him fight, just it's more of like his mentality going into it. Like he was like, no, like I'm gonna fuck this guy up. You know, he just was like, I'm gonna maul this guy. And it's always pretty cool to see that. It's just like how mentally strong some of these guys can be. You know, I'm sure it's the same exact thing for you. You know, and so yeah. But I was gonna tell you, if I see you with a mullet, I'm probably gonna bring some clippers to your boxing match. Like, nah, I'm not doing that.
I'll let you.
What was your gym again?
Aslan Boxing Gym.
That's a boxing gym. What other guys you got there? Like, they have any other fights coming up soon?
Yeah, my teammate, Ivan Vasquez. He's fighting on the same card.
Yeah.
He's like 5-0 right now. Should be 6-0 after that night.
Y'all feel like with y'all's gym, do you feel like you'll have like a team kind of mentality when you go into these cards together?
Yeah, team. We all put in the hard work together. A coach is always with us. He's always there every training. You know, if like if we need recovery, he'll make an ice bath for us, or he'll take us out to
Yeah, I
eat.
saw you doing that ice bath the other day.
Yeah, it was hell, but the first 10 minutes is hell. The rest is just
You're used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it seemed like for a long time a lot of gyms would focus on the one guy they thought had it, and then they'd move away from everybody else. But I think here in the last like 5 years, 10 years, they've kind of focused more on like a team aspect of it. So you have like Metro Fight Club that we keep talking about. They have a handful of guys, Mano Martinez, Jacob Silva, Adrian Yanez, Michael Aswell. And when you go to their fights, they're all there supporting every single one of them. They all go crazy for them. And then like in the UFC, you have American Top Team. You have the people who train with Trevor Whitman.
Yeah.
He's there for each and every single one of them, and he's one of the best coaches in the game right now. So for him to find time to make it not about the one fighter, make it about everybody, I think that's super cool. And I think it's really necessary for everyone to, again, like I was saying earlier, to know that you have people who have your back. It kind of makes you feel like you're fighting for something. So it's always pretty cool just to see people kind of band together.
Yeah, I think that's powerful. Like, if you have all these talented fighters, you might as well make all of them champion, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of one.
That's what, like, Trevor Whitman, we were talking about him earlier. He's a phenomenal coach, and just, like, you hear him speak, and he just understands things so well. And he used to have a big gym, but then he ended up, like, downsizing. He just picked a handful of fighters, was like, look, I just want to train these guys. These are people I get along with, instead of just... Because then he talks about, like, you know, it's hard to make time for everybody at the gym. And so, but all his fighters are very successful fighters, too. 2 of them are world champions right now. One of them is just fought for the world title last year. But he's an exciting fighter. And that guy Justin Gaethje, he's fun to watch. They call him the human highlight reel, just because he goes in there. He's either like, I knock you out or you knock me out. It's one or the other. But he was a strict like wrestler. But when he got into like amateur MMA and stuff, he was even like, no, I'm gonna box. Like, I'm not gonna put on a boring fight. People work their ass off for these tickets and stuff. Which it's kind of different when it's very very different when it comes to like MMA. It's like you can kind of go in there and throw down. Boxing, you have to be very technical. They call it the sweet science for a reason, you know. And so, but I know I think he trains a boxer too. But I can't remember who exactly.
What are you hoping to get out of a boxing career?
I'm hoping to get a well platform where I can be stable, and I want to make a change in the world where I want to help certain communities. Like, of course, I would help the Black Lives Matter community. I would help all these younger generations come up and give them hope that you can still dream and you can still make a change in this world, and you gotta just remove all negativity from this world. And I would team up with different groups and just really shine light on parts of the world where it needs it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, of course, like Africa, or you heard of Jaden Smith, when you know what he's doing?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
With stuff like his water company. And yeah.
You know,
There's we're always bringing up MMA fighters, but there's an MMA fighter named Dustin Poirier. And
I was just about to bring him up too.
He's such a cool dude. But he works with the Good Fight Foundation, so he works with kids who don't have good opportunities. Right now, one of his main goals is to build a gym, not necessarily for troubled kids, but again for kids who just don't have a lot of opportunities. He's trying to get together an MMA gym that will be specifically for them, and as long as they're making good grades in school and having good conduct and have proof of that, they get free tuition in the gym, or free membership, I guess.
Because he talks a lot about, like, he grew up on the streets just fighting all the time. Like his, I've never heard him talk about his dad, but he's talked about his mom.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he talked about his mom. His mom, she has a really troubled past, and so he's like, I grew up just on the streets of Louisiana, just fighting all the time and stuff. So if I can help those kids stay out of trouble and help give them a path, that's the most important thing, you know. So, and I think that's a good thing, I mean, we grew up, like we talked about, we all grew up in Pasadena. So it's just like being able to give these kids an outlet so they're not running around doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I think Pasadena needs that, because I go around Pasadena, and I'm not trying to hate on any of the gyms in Pasadena, but I would rather train my kids on my own.
You're right.
Not that they're bad gyms, but I don't get that feeling that I would want from a gym over at Pasadena. I know of a few specific gyms that I've gone to, and I won't say names just because, like I said, I'm not trying to hate on anybody. They're running a business, but that's kind of what you get the feel is that they're running a business. They're not trying to help these kids. They're not trying to help their people.
Some people do it for the money, and some people do it for the kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody should just think of the kids. The
They're
newer
the
generation
future.
coming to the world. Yeah, the future. So every minute or every view I get coming to this boxing pro career, I want to turn it into
Put a positive spin on it.
Pay it forward.
Positive energy.
Yeah.
Another fighter that actually Dustin Poirier teamed up with to bring water to the people in Uganda. They work on making clean water for them, housing for them. His name is Justin Wren. He's been doing that for a long time. But he worked with this kid recently, or I won't say worked with. There's this kid, Raiden, who was getting bullied. He's a mentally challenged kid, however the right term is. But he was getting picked on by all these kids, and I mean, he's much bigger than these kids. So if he wanted to hurt them or fight back, and he did, I think he would have put them in their place. But he's just not that kind of kid. So there's just this video of 3 or 4 different kids, two or 3 boys and 2 or 3 girls picking on him all together, and it was rough to watch. Justin Wren got with him, and he got him going to MMA gyms, was teaching him some stuff. He would take him to go hang out with baseball players and watch the games. He would take him to races and all kinds of stuff, and just get him to kind of come out of his shell and have some confidence and learn that the whole world's not like that. And I think everybody needs that, not just kids, but kids especially, because if they're stuck in this place where it seems like there's no hope, then what do you have to look forward to? Why even bother trying to have a good future? So I think that's definitely a good message. I think that's a good outlook, and I hope that we can provide some help to that, some kind of platform for you. We are super appreciative of all of our listeners. We have some in Germany. We have some in Canada now. We have our family, our friends, and if anyone was to ever want something positive, I hope that we can kind of help provide that. If listening to this helps anybody, or if listening to you helps anybody, I definitely would want that. So yeah, anytime that we have you on here, you can talk about whatever. You can give your ideas for a better future. You can tell your ideas on how you think things should be in the world. And that's what it is. It's a platform.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about when we were in lunch. Is we want to hear your story. We reached out to you because we wanted to get to know you. We see you coming up. We've seen, even just watching your training, we're like, man, that kid's got fucking something. He's got the tenacity, he's got the technique, he has all these things. And so just for you to make the time out of your day to come over here and just talk with us, man, it's that's cool as fuck. And so it's just, we're hoping that, even though we have a small knit community, it's just, the thing is just we're just here to give you a voice and let your story be heard, let everybody know who you are, and share that, because that one person might share that to somebody, and that one person might say, oh, my friend's a boxing fan, and then next thing you know, it just blows up. It's kind of weird how things have a certain domino effect,
Yeah.
It's nuts. Talking with some people, I've talked to a friend, she's, oh, my boyfriend's a fan of MMA, I'll tell him about your podcast. And so it's cool. I talked to my dad, and I was like, yeah, we're meeting a boxer. He's, oh man, that's cool as shit, because he prefers boxing over MMA for sure. So it's stuff like that. It's just being able to spread that and just make it possible what you can, with what you have, and just see where it goes.
You if you ever had the opportunity and the money, would you ever open up a gym in Pasadena?
For sure, that's home. I would definitely open up a gym, and I would probably teach it myself. You know, the gym.
Yeah.
Teach all the kids, and hopefully make some world champions. But I really I wanna build this community where, you know, me like being a local right now, a local fighter. I wanna just put a lot of money into local fighters that I know will use their platform for good and give them light and give them a chance. Because I know some people start on TV, you know, people from USA team, people with money, they go right to TV, you know, worldwide. And I know I got to start from the trenches. I got to start from the bottom, and I got to work my way up. But I know I'm gonna definitely work my way up. It's just the fact that there's so much talent and gifted athletes in the dark that should be getting light more than what they're getting, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, or like we both said, that's why we want you on, because I really do believe that there are so many people who don't get a chance. The amount of athletes in any sport that that don't get their chance,
all the industries,
but they've earned it and they still don't get it. It's really sad to see. We were watching those bare knuckle fights earlier. Some of those dudes were 50 years old, and they're still doing it. And I hope it's because they want to, not because they have to. Because if they have to, it's like, man, that's rough. He was talking about Chuck Liddell doing it. Chuck Liddell probably doesn't have to.
No.
But he's doing it because he loves it, and I understand that. But think of all the people who could have had that same opportunity and touched so many other lives with it. Chuck Liddell helped. He helped bring the eyes to MMA like very few other people did. And when it comes to boxing, like the amount of boxers who are charities giving people is insane. Manny Pacquiao's got to be one of the biggest names on that list.
Yeah.
So him being one of them, some people like have earned it, and the kind of person they are alone should earn them that spot. But I know a handful of guys who were great people and just never really got their shot, and they end up working, you know, Pasadena, so they're working in a plant somewhere, and I'm like, man, you're so talented. I don't want that for you. So one of the reasons that I like getting the local names on here and getting like my friends who I know are super talented on here is that specifically is because I see you in all of our conversations so far. You're very grounded and you're very well spoken, and you have the right attitude for someone so young and so early on into the sport. I think that alone, you kind of deserve some attention, and then your skill set speaks for itself. Your Instagram handle is He Dreams Boxing. Yeah, so everybody go check out Carlos Nava, He Dreams Boxing. Again, the skill set speaks for itself. The character speaks for itself. You put it together, like it's got to happen. It's got to happen. And if it doesn't, that just doesn't make sense to me. I know a handful of MMA fighters who it doesn't make sense to me that they haven't made it yet. And I'm not sure what it is, but they deserve it. And if there's anything I can do to help get them there, I'll do it.
And I think especially now, like, you know, having you on is such a good time because there's such a resurgence in boxing going on right now. And so it's like it's cool to be able to sit down and talk with somebody who's stepping into this journey, you know, becoming a pro boxer, and be able to talk about this sport that we don't talk about too much on here, but we enjoy watching just as much. But there's so many good boxers out there, great boxers, that it's like we're able to sit here and talk about these guys, you know, like Ryan Garcia everyone knows who that guy is now, you know, and we talk about like Devonte Davis, we talk about Canelo, just these household names that they become, Tyson Fury, a couple others. And so it's pretty cool to see that, because for a while nobody was really watching boxing, you know. I know that the Klitschko brothers got a bunch of shit back in the day for their fights, just because they were point fighters, you know. They would go out there and they would just win fights. And so but when Tyson Fury came in, he beat the Klitschko brother, and then I think he fought Vladimir. He beat Vladimir, and then Anthony Joshua comes in and actually knocks out Vladimir Klitschko with that dirty uppercut.
Yeah.
So it was like, man. But then you see guys like him coming up too. That guy grew up rough as well. No one. He talked about it a little bit. He grew up on the streets of London. Running around doing dumb shit. Got into boxing and pretty much kept him out of the streets. And so it was cool to see that this one guy was going out. He's fighting he's boxing in the Olympics, and then now he's a pro boxer. Everybody knows who Anthony Joshua is now. Except same thing for you. You're just hanging out doing your thing, and then you boxed in the Olympics, and now you're gonna be making your pro boxing debut. And so and some of the fighters we've talked about too is like you came up with them, and so you've either boxed them in the Olympics or you saw them boxing in the Olympics too.
Mm-hmm.
And so. The thing is, though, there's like, yeah, they've gotten better, but they don't know how much better you've gotten since as well,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like we were saying, Pasadena needs it.
Yeah.
Do you think that ever adds any pressure? You ever think about that when you're fighting?
I always think about it. It adds a little bit of pressure, but I think pressure is good. It makes diamonds, and I think Pasadena, like being in a small city, I feel like definitely putting it on the map would open up so many opportunities for Pasadena.
Yeah.
And I would definitely do it for the people. I would do it for all my friends, family there, and it's always gonna be home. It's where I was born and raised, and of course it has its negativities, but I'm always gonna love Pasadena.
Yeah, and I'd also like to be clear: Pasadena is by no means horrible or like real ghetto. It's just it's got its areas, its bad areas, and it's got its decent areas. It's not the worst, but I think it definitely needs some positivity. Like I'd said, the plant jobs. That's kind of at a certain point, everybody has to consider a plant job just because that's the biggest thing here. I think if Pasadena had a really successful and home-styled boxing gym, that would do wonders. I don't think Pasadena does. Pasadena has boxing gyms, but they're very small. I don't think there are any like real open boxing gyms there.
No, it used to be Kenny. He was probably the one that kept it.
Yeah.
Kenny Weldon. But yeah, I feel like if one makes it out, then all the rest have to follow. Just many more after that.
And there's no reason they can't, other than it's Pasadena, and you feel like you're held down because, there's Pasadena, I gotta get out of here. But it really isn't like that. But like I said, that's a place, it's that mentality of there's no real hope out there. So that's what you're trying to do, trying to bring hope to these people.
Yeah.
No pressure, just a little bit, just enough. Yeah, so your boxing match June 12th over in Galveston Island. Is there anything you want to leave off on with this recording?
Just go support June 12th at Galveston Convention Center at 6:30 p.m. Just come and watch the show.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good fights for sure. A lot of local names. Again, I think a lot of nice people, a lot of really good people who are on that card that
a lot of talent on that
they're
card.
about to get their shot, and it's time. Like, I think same thing with the local scene here for MMA. Like, it's time. I think it's starting to happen. I think it's a big deal.
The fact that COVID, is kind of going away, and quarantine's over. More things are open, and I know a couple names on that card, the same card as mine, that kind of gonna show out too. Rachel Lieb.
Yeah.
Breon, my friend Ivan, my teammate, Oscar Perez. It's full of talent. Like, it's gonna be a good show.
Yeah, I know Rachel Lieb's doing a lot of big things, so he's definitely one of those ones to look out for. There's Devonte Randall making his second pro fight. We were just talking earlier. I saw someone comment on one of his videos or one of his posts saying, "Don't knock the ref down this time," because in his last fight he was just starting to tee off on the guy, and then he turned and then knocked the ref over. But again, just a lot of good people with a lot of talent, and it's just cool to see that kind of positivity being fueled in a way that is inspiring and more than just Pasadena needs that. The whole world needs that.
Mhm.
So you're gonna go in there and you're gonna kill it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Most definitely.
Well, we appreciate you having you on. And we hope to have you on soon. You got an idea of when you want to be back here?
I'll be back for sure.
Yeah.
Either when I'm 3-0, 5-0, and for sure when I get my first strap,
Oh yeah.
first belt.
Gotta come show out to the Astrid. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Remember, that's Carlos Nava. Check him out on social media. He Dreams Waxing on Instagram. If you're not with it now, you don't want to miss it.